In this video, we will be using proportions to solve some percent problems. You can think about percents as a proportion in many different ways. Here's 3 examples. This first example here is very commonly seen in textbooks. P stands for percent, and A and B stand for the 2 quantities that you're comparing. In this example over here, we see it rewritten with a percent sign instead of the P, and is for the numerator and of for the denominator. Depending on how a problem is worded, this may be very helpful. A third way that you may see it written is like this. This percent sign still represents our percent. You'll notice that all 3 of these examples have 100 on the bottom because percent is out of 100. Instead of is and of here, they have used the word part and whole, meaning part of what you're talking about and the whole of what you're talking about. As we get into some application problems, you might find this one the most useful. All 3 of these proportions mean and represent the same things, and all 3 are valid ways to solve percent problems. Let's look at an example. We are asked to find what is 78% of 82. Since we have the words is and of, I think I'm going to probably use the proportion that we just saw of percent over 100 equals is over of. Our first job is to identify which numbers go where. I think the one that stands out the most is right here. 78 is a percent, so it's going to go in the percent spot. Other things that I can see are this of 82 and what is. That tells me the of is going to be 82, and the is what we are looking for. So we're going to put an X in the is spot. So let's rewrite the proportion with our numbers where they go. 78 is the percent, so percent over 100. Is, that's what we're looking for, and the of is 82. Once we're here, we're going to use cross multiplying to solve for X. First up, I'm going to take 82 times 78. That's 6,396. And 100 times X is 100X. Then we're going to solve for X by dividing that 100 to get X by itself. So X is going to equal 63.96. Now let's do a couple of things before we're done. First, it says round to the nearest hundredth. So we should have 2 numbers after our decimal place, which we do. Second, we need to make sure this makes sense. Remember, another way to think about this is part and whole. If we're doing 78% of 82, this should be a part of 82. So 63.96 would be the correct part of 82. If this had been 50%, then our answer would be half of 82. Since we're more than 50%, our part is more than half of 82. So just another way to think about checking to make sure your answer makes sense. Let's try example 2. Again, we're going to be using percent over 100 equals is over of. Let's see if we can identify our parts. It says, what is 46 out of 60 as a percent? I always like to try and find the percent first. It's usually helpful. And in this question, I don't see a percent sign, which means 46 and 60 are probably not my percent. The question is saying, what is the percent? This percent right here is what we're looking for. We do see is 46 and of 60. So there's where our pieces go. X is going to be my percent, is 46 of 60. Again, we're going to cross multiply. So 60 times X is 60X. 100 times 46 is going to be 4,600. To get X by itself, we divide by our 60. Now this one's going to be a decimal, so we're going to make sure we round to the nearest hundredth. I've got about 76 point, and then a whole bunch of 6 after that, so that means that 6 is going to round up to a 7. And since our answer is a percent, we should probably add our percent sign. Before we call it done, let's see if this makes sense. If we have 60 questions on a test, and we get this part, 46, correct, would we have about a 76% on the test? Yeah, I think that's probably about right. That seems reasonable. If we got 30 out of 60, we would only have 50%. So we should have more than 50% because we had more than 30 correct. So that feels about right. Let's try one more. Again, because we see the words is and of, we're going percent over 100 equals is over of. Let's see if we can find our parts. First up, I see 120 with a percent sign, so I know that's a percent. Of what? There's my X. And is 312, so there's your is. Let's put them where they go. 120 is the percent. Is 312 of is my X. Let's cross multiply. 120 times X is 120X. And then 100 times 312 would be 31200. Then we're going to solve by dividing by 120. And you should be getting X equals 260. Now, does that make sense? This one's actually a little trickier. Look back at your percent. This is 120%. If we are over 100%, that means our ratio is more than 1. 100% would be 312 over 312. The part would be all of the whole, 100%. Since we're over 100%, it means that the part is going to be bigger than the whole. One whole would be 100%. 120% means we're more than 100%. So it does make sense that our whole here is actually a smaller number than our part.